Hey guys, welcome back to BCMN Bracketology, and today we're going to be going over the 2021 March Madness bracket. Thank you guys so much for support on recent videos. We really appreciate all the likes and subs and comments, especially those comments because we really like having that conversation. Comment down below if your picks are similar, different, or what you guys think of them. Also, we are hosting a March Madness Tournament Bracket Challenge. The link is in the description below. You guys must be subbed to win that one, and we will be having a giveaway for that. So let's hop into this tournament. So first, we got Zags versus a playing game, probably going to be Appalachian State. Zags are going to win. Easy pick.
Next, we got Oklahoma versus Missouri. This can go either way. Both teams have not been performing as good as they have, but we're going to go with Oklahoma for now.
Yeah, Oklahoma, those losses weren't too bad. So next, we got Creighton, UCSB. Creighton, terrible game against Georgetown. I don't see UCSB, though, being one of those elite 12 seeds. A lot of other 12 seeds I could see pulling this upset, but not them. I really like Creighton still, even after that loss.
Next, we got Virginia, Ohio. Virginia got out of their tournament because of COVID. Ohio has started to heat up. I think Virginia's not going to be as healthy and almost lost to Syracuse, so they are vulnerable, and Ohio's going to win.
So now kind of going down here, we got USC versus Wichita State or Drake. I'm going to assume Wichita State wins this game. I don't really like Drake that much. Wichita State, earlier in the year, we saw them be able to take on Cade Cunningham, kind of matched up very well, and that's a better team than USC, obviously. Cade Cunningham, I think, only had 10 points, shooting like 35% or so from the field. Wichita State's got some really good defenders. USC is kind of big, but I think Wichita State, if they're able to get hot, which they're a three-point shooting team. You've got guys like co-player of the year, Tyson Etienne, Albert T. Gilbert, some veterans. I think they're going to be able to win this game if they can get hot, so we're going to take them there.
Next, we got Kansas versus Eastern Washington. Kansas. We'll talk about them more later, though.
Yeah, now we got Oregon, VCU. VCU wasn't able to win their conference tournament. Oregon also wasn't, but that was kind of a fluky game against Oregon State. Oregon State shot like 55% from three. I still think the Ducks this year are incredible, and I think they're going to win this one. Whoops, Oregon.
Next, we got Iowa Grand Canyon. While we do love Grand Canyon, we don't really think they're going to win even remotely close.
Yeah, so now we got Michigan. They're going to win there.
Next, we got LSU St. Bonaventure. St. Bonaventure has had some good wins. LSU has had much better wins. Started to heat up. Shouldn't be Alabama. Didn't, but we're still going to put LSU.
Okay, next we got Colorado, Georgetown. Both teams been pretty hot. Colorado did lose to Oregon State, though, and Georgetown, I think they're remarkable as of right now. Nobody thought they'd be here. Keep hitting those shots and keep hitting threes. They're going to win this one.
Next, we got Florida State, UNCG. UNCG has not really proved themselves that much. Florida State has been an up and down, but they did beat a really good UNC team, so I think they've been looking pretty good. They're also kind of big. I think they're going to win this game.
Yeah, they've been okay coming into March. Lost that game to Notre Dame, I believe that was. Not looking too great, but then they've kind of picked things up. Next, we got BYU versus MSU or UCLA. Michigan State, one of those up and down teams, but they're playing away. You have to take that into account. They're a terrible away team this year, but they've been really good at home. But sadly, a tournament's not going to be at home. They were able to beat Michigan, Illinois, and Ohio State. But you have to take into account all those games they were at home. They lost a similar game to Michigan, and they were away, and they lost badly. BYU, great team. Really, only losses to Zags. I think they're really underlooked this year just because of the Zags' success. I think they're going to a phenomenal 6 seed. A lot of people think they're kind of an overrated 6 seed. I think they're pretty good. They're going to win this one. MSU, Elite 8, or they're getting out in the first round.
Also, BYU could heat up like they did against Gonzaga, who had a really good defense. So you could definitely see them having a run if they shoot remarkably. All right, next we got Texas Abilene Christian. We're going to go with Texas for now and talk about them more later.
Yes, now we got Yukon Maryland. Maryland, not the greatest game against Michigan. They were up by a lot, but kind of blew it. Really just fell apart. They were on a 2-game lose streak coming into the tournament, lost to Northwestern and Penn State. They had a good game against Michigan State, but yet again, Michigan State was an away game. I see Yukon. They're winning this one. Yukon's guard talent's phenomenal. They played a really good Creighton team when Creighton was hot. You have to take into account Creighton was two different teams when they played them versus them.
Next, we got Alabama, Iona. Bama. We'll talk about them more later.
So next, back to the top left, Zags, they're winning that one.
Next, we got Ohio versus Creighton. Creighton's starting to heat up, even though they did play that Georgetown team. We'll get to them later, but they look really good now. Ohio has been heating up as well, but Creighton has more talent, and they're going to win this game.
Yeah, next we got Wichita State, we're going to assume, versus Kansas, kind of a rematch from a few years back. Wichita State, though, that doesn't have 4 NBA players to take them on. Kansas doesn't really have that star player this year. I think that's good for them in this matchup. It'll hurt them later on, but in this matchup, Wichita State kind of has 1 or 2 really solid defenders, but they can't really space out and guard Kansas. Kansas sharing the ball incredible, and they're going to win this one.
All right. Next, we got Iowa versus Oregon. Both teams have been playing pretty good. Oregon had that little slip-up against Oregon State. We're not going to take that much against them. Oregon has been playing really well besides that one game. Iowa has that talent, and because of the three-point shooting and Luka Garza, they're gonna win this game.
Yes, now I got Michigan LSU. This is our big game. LSU looking phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal after winning their tournament. Michigan kind of going downhill. Scary game against Maryland, almost lost that one. Then they lost to Ohio State. Not a great game for them again. LSU, on the other hand, we really like them, and this is our Cinderella team kind of going far.
Even though LSU didn't win their tournament, they probably should have against Alabama and kind of blew it at the end. Next, we got Georgetown versus FSU. Last March Madness, Oregon was surprising, won their tournament, got that 12 seed. This is very similar Georgetown. They started to heat up. FSU, kind of rough. Georgetown looks really good, and we're going to take them here.
Next, we got BYU, Texas. BYU looks great against the Zags. If they can shoot 50% in the first half, obviously you have no clue how this is going to go. Texas, though, such a big team. They kind of show that against Oklahoma State, just pounding the ball and constantly. I don't think BYU has the big guys to actually defend them, so Texas is going to win this one.
Next, we got Yukon Alabama. Both teams have been playing really good, got guard talent everywhere in that game. Alabama has just been playing better. Yukon did not make their finals, lost to Creighton. Even though they were hot, they showed that they can't play with those really hot teams like Alabama, who shoots the ball really well.
Yeah, so next we go back to the top left. We got Zags versus Creighton. Creighton kind of lucky off their 2 matchups, kind of a bad 12 seed and then not a bad 13 seed, just didn't have to play a great 4 seed or a 13 seed. So Zags is going to win this one. Kind of an easy matchup against Creighton.
Next, we got Kansas versus Iowa. I think this is a great matchup. Iowa has the shooting ability and the skill. Kansas has been playing really well. They don't have that star player, but they have that chemistry. Even though they lost to Texas, while we did say Texas is a really good team, in February they haven't lost any other game since they beat Texas Tech, they beat Baylor, they beat Oklahoma. They're coming off COVID break, but I don't think that's going to change a lot, and Kansas is going to win this game.
Yeah, they kind of got snubbed of that Big 12 tournament because they had to stay out for COVID. Next, we got LSU Georgetown. Love this matchup. It's really a question of who can just keep this streak going, and I think LSU can. Georgetown shooting the ball terrific. Nothing against them. I think they're both, honestly, Cinderella teams. LSU, I just think, even if they're not shooting the ball well, they can still take on Georgetown.
Next, we got Alabama versus Texas. Alabama did win their tournament, so did Texas. Bama probably shouldn't. Texas easily deserved this talent. Not easily. Kind of got lucky with not playing Kansas, but they looked really good. They look big. They can play defense against Bama, and if they do, they're going to win this game.
So now back to the top left, we got Zags, Kansas. We said earlier, Kansas doesn't really have a star player this year. No one over 14 points per game, maybe even 13 points per game. And this is kind of where it hurts them. Zags, they've got 3 stars. You kind of have to have a great defender against them. You have to guard Suggs, and you have to guard Kisper and Time. I don't see Kansas with this team doing it. If they're able to shoot the ball well and move the ball around, it's possible, but I think the Zags are just a better team overall, and they're going to win this one.
All right. Now we got Texas versus LSU. As much as I want to take LSU, I don't know if they're going to stay hot for 4 to 5 games straight. Texas has shown that and proven that they can win games and will win games, beating great teams like Oklahoma State. LSU could not finish the game against Alabama. They choked that one a little bit, and Texas is going to win this game.
Yeah. So those are 2 of our final 4 picks. Now we go to the top right region, and Baylor right off the bat. Pretty easy pick.
UNC. Right off the bat, kind of an easy pick. I know it's an 8-9 seed and it should be close, but we're not high on Wisconsin. They can't finish games.
Yeah, so next we got Villanova Winthrop. Nova lost their two best players. Really, really unfortunate for them coming into the tournament. We kind of saw that they would collapse, and then they did collapse. Winthrop, love Winthrop. I really wish they were a 13 or 14 seed, and so we could take them in a 4-13 upset or a 3-14 upset. But this is actually, I think, a pretty easy game for them. I don't think Villanova's at full strength. I think Winthrop moves the ball really well, and their spacing's incredible.
Yeah, next we got Purdue Northern Texas. Purdue's going to easily win this game.
Yeah, now we got Texas Tech, Utah State. Congrats, Utah State. You made the tournament. You weren't supposed to. Oh, well, you're going to lose first round to Texas Tech.
Next we got Arkansas Colgate. We're kind of high on Colgate, and they get very unlucky with Arkansas. I think most other 3 seeds could lose to Colgate. I think if Colgate was a 13 seed, they definitely could beat a 4 seed. But Arkansas is still a very hot team.
Yeah, next we got Florida, Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, coming off of a COVID break, really haven't looked the same since when they were ranked. They lost their conference tournament. I think it was to UNC and didn't really play great. Florida lost, on the other hand, to Tennessee. Looked good before that, and they were able to knock off a pretty hot team. I think Florida, they're just big, and I don't think Virginia Tech is at the physical peak that they want to be at, considering they're on a COVID break.
Next we got Ohio State, Oral Roberts. We're going to take Ohio State. We're going to talk about them more later, though.
Yeah, now we got Illinois there.
All right. Georgia Tech looks really good. They're underseeded. They probably should be a 5 seed at this point. Loyola Chicago, a little bit underseeded. They've been playing really well, even though they had a slight loss to Drake. Still looks really good, but Georgia Tech has just looked a lot better winning the ACC tournament.
Yeah, Oregon State versus Tennessee now. Oregon State, I don't really see them this as a 12-5 upset that's possible. Oregon State, they really got lucky in their games, just shooting the ball. Ridiculous. Everything was knocking down. I think this week pause is going to cool them down. I don't think they're going to be able to shoot as well as they were. So Tennessee here.
Yeah. Next we got Oklahoma State Liberty. Even though Liberty is one of the highest 3-point shooting teams, I'm pretty sure Oklahoma State has this guy named Cade Cunningham. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's a pretty good player.
just pretty good. Next we got San Diego State Syracuse. A really unfortunate matchup for San Diego State. Syracuse, unbelievable this year. Not unbelievable this year. Coming close to March, they've been great. That game against Virginia, I thought they had that. I thought that was theirs to win. Very unfortunate they lost, and then Virginia had a COVID outbreak. I think Syracuse is going to win this one. San Diego State doesn't really have that guard talent. They lost Malachi Flynn, so I don't see him winning.
Next, we got West Virginia, Morehead State. Honestly, Morehead State's not the worst 14 seed. They could have been a 13 seed, but West Virginia's a lot better.
Then we got Clemson, Rutgers. I hate both these teams. Both terrible coming into March. I might be going to this game, which is why I'm mad also. One game I didn't want to go to, so I'll take Clemson just because Rutgers hasn't looked good recently, and they kind of rely on 2 players.
Honestly, this would not be the worst game to go to just because they're both equally as bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Houston, Cleveland State. Houston, we'll talk about them more later.
Yeah, so now the top right. Baylor, UNC, I like these both teams, both really good on defense. UNC, I don't think they have the offensive spark to keep up with Baylor and score 80, 85 points in a game, so Baylor's going to win this one.
Yeah, next we got Winthrop, Purdue. Purdue does not have the best perimeter defense. Winthrop plays kind of a 5-out. They shoot a lot of threes. They make a lot of threes. They win games. Purdue's a bigger team. They play more of the inside. I can see this going either way, but I think Winthrop's going to stay hot and win this game.
Yeah, so now we got Texas Tech, Arkansas. I like this matchup. I like Matt McClung versus Moses Moody. Arkansas, they lost that game to LSU. I don't think it was the worst game. I think LSU was shooting incredible, but just on fire in general. I think Arkansas is going to be underlooked now, and I think they're still going to make a really deep run in this tournament.
Yeah, now we got Florida versus Ohio State. I think Florida gets very lucky in the first round against Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's not healthy, coming off of COVID breaks, a couple of them. Ohio State plays really good. We're going to talk about them a little bit more later, though.
Yeah, Illinois, Georgia Tech. I'm so mad that Georgia Tech is a 9 seed, especially having to play Illinois against a bunch of the other 1 seeds even. I wish they were a 7 seed. I think they'd win a bunch of those games. It's sad that they have to play a game that they don't really match up that well against Illinois. We've been really high on Georgia Tech. We thought they'd win the ACC in our conference bracket prediction. They did win the ACC. I don't see them beating Illinois. I don't think they have the size to match up against Kofi, and then Iowa's just going to cut them to shreds.
Yeah, now we got Tennessee versus Oklahoma State. I think Tennessee gets a little bit lucky. They have been playing really good recently. But then you get to play an Oregon State who we think is going to cool down. Oklahoma State, once again, has a star player, even when he's not in, their bench and their backups and just the other starters are playing amazing, and they're going to win this game by a lot.
So now we got Syracuse, West Virginia. Syracuse kind of fell apart against Virginia when Virginia was really playing transition ball. West Virginia, arguably the best transition team in the nation. I don't see them being able to just keep up with the speed of West Virginia.
Clemson lost to Miami.
Next. So now we have got Baylor Winthrop. And Winthrop, I don't see this game against Baylor. They remind me of that Wofford, Oregon team from a few years ago. But I don't see them being able to stop Baylor. I think Baylor is just a great two-way team with Jared Butler and then Davian Mitchell, Teague, and a bunch of other guys.
Next, we got Arkansas versus Ohio State. I am high on both these teams. Ohio State played a really good Big Ten tournament, came very close to winning, but sadly came short against Illinois. I think they were only in that game because Dwayne Washington scored 36 points. Arkansas has consistently been good, except that one fluke game against LSU. I think they'd beat LSU if they played again. Moody looks really good. All of them look really good, and they're going to win this game.
Yeah, so now I got Illinois, Oklahoma State. Great game. I feel bad for Illinois. Really tough road to the Final Four, or just finals in general. Had to play the best 9 seed. Now I think they have to play the best 4 seed. Cade Cunningham beat Baylor, not by himself, but they were able to beat Baylor. And Illinois, I see them actually being able to contain Cade Cunningham. I think guys like Io are going to really be able to step up. I think Kofi's going to lock down the paint. I don't see them being able to Cade to be just able to control this game.
Also, Trent Frazier is probably my guess. Trent Frazier is going to guard Cade Cunningham. Frazier is one of the best on-ball defenders I've seen. Okay, West Virginia, Houston. We have talked about this game for the last month. I'd say every bracket. West Virginia is the fastest team, best transition scoring. Houston's probably the best rebounding team and a bigger team. I think West Virginia is going to outrun them. Even though Quentin Grimes, I don't think he's going to shoot 55% like he did in the tournament. If he does, I could see them winning, but right now I don't see it.
Yeah, so now to make the Final Four, we got Arkansas, Baylor. Baylor looked great even against that loss against Oklahoma State. But Arkansas, they kind of remind me of Baylor in some sense. They kind of build their team around Moses Moody, and then other guys really have been stepping up lately. I think they're a scrappy team. I think they're going to be able to score points kind of here and there against Baylor, and I think they're going to stay in it and make a run late and be able to win this one. I think Arkansas, a lot of people are kind of giving them too little credit after that loss, and I think their resume going up to this has just been remarkable.
Yeah. All right. Next, we got Illinois versus West Virginia. Illinois has an amazing transition defense. Obviously, West Virginia has the best in the country. Illinois against Ohio State and Iowa had like 6 to 8 points in transition against their defense. They look really good. Their offense looks really good. You got Kofi, he's huge, and you got perimeter shooters around him, and Illinois is going to win this game.
Yeah, so now to make our Final Four, we have 2 1 seeds and 2 3 seeds. So now we got Zags Texas. Texas able to make it out of that conference because of a lot of that region, because of a lot of upsets in LSU and Georgetown. I don't really think they're that elite competitor against Zags. I think Zags match up great against their size. Texas, huge team, bunch of 6'10 plus guys, but Zags match up so well, and I don't think Texas matches up quite as well against the Zags themselves. The Zags have 3-star players in Suggs, Kispert, and Timmy, as we keep saying, and until they prove us otherwise, I don't think they're going to lose here.
Next, we got Arkansas versus Illinois. Both 2 probably top 5 hotness teams. Both Illinois had a really tough schedule to get in here. Arkansas didn't have the toughest of schedules. Illinois has really good defense. They're going to stop Arkansas. Arkansas may, I don't know. I can see this going either way, but I think we're going to go with Illinois for now.
Yeah, so kind of a boring final, Zags versus Illinois, both 1 seeds. It's going to be a great game, though. Obviously, if you guys think Arkansas can make a run, I could see Arkansas making a run. I could see Illinois losing early to Georgia Tech, but as of right now, as of our take on this, I don't see Illinois losing that one. But we keep saying it. The Zags, everyone says, oh, they always kind of choke in March Madness. That's when they didn't have a complete team. They now have Time, who's improved even better. They have Kispert, who has improved even better. And they added Suggs, a top 15 player. Suggs has just completed that team. They don't really have to cycle through their bench a lot anymore because they can have two stars on at the same time. I see the Zags winning this one, but I think it's going to be a great game. So thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to consider subscribing so you can be a chance to enter in that tournament, and have a good